Don't say that, though. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Dad FF. I got my cold AF C4 beanie on because these trades are going to be cold. Like, we're right around the corner from the NFL draft. I am so excited for these trades because we have had some absolute monster deals. My leagues keep getting busier and busier. The Discord keeps getting busier and busier. The best place to get in all of your Dynasty rookie content, all of your trade content, patreon.com/smash accept. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because we're doing this every Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Snoog, this is my favorite time of the week, man. It is Trade Show Tuesday. Last couple of weeks, I've been saying we've been getting 200 plus trades. I looked in the Discord, on YouTube, and on Twitter. We were up over 220. So, like, people are just throwing trades out there, and it's like, all right, we're going to get to as many as possible. That's why we have our super chats. If you guys do the super chats, we will be doing, we're going to do a giveaway like we always do. 5 super chats, and we will give away a rookie guide and a month of VIP Patreon. 10, we'll give away 2 rookie guides, 2 VIP Patreons, and a roster review. So, that's been a big thing. You guys have really been jumping up at that. But Snoog, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I love every single one of these shows because they become a highlight in my week.
Yeah, I look forward to Tuesday night every single night to talk ball with you two. So, Dad, we were talking about it today. Like, it's trade show night. Like, let's go. Dad's got the cold AF beanie on. He's got a C4 going.
And I think C4 sent me a Yeti.
9:30 at night. He's ripping C4s right now. I can tell you one thing. He's ready to go. So
I know. Like, I'm here for trades, C4, and my kids. That's what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my girlfriend. She would be mad if I didn't say that. So, all right. And Broc, this is honestly every single week we keep getting more and more of these. You do an amazing job keeping us flowing because Snoog and I, we love debating these trades. We love talking them over. You've just you steer the ship, and I appreciate that because a lot of people have really commented. You know what? Like, Broc brings a nice balance there where sometimes Snoog and I are so excited to talk. We talk over each other, and then like Broc just keeps it going. So we appreciate that about you.
Hell yeah. Let's get it going without further ado. Let's go ahead. I see the chat already popping. I think we actually have a super chat here before we kick things off from one of the regulars, Michael Kensel. Appreciate the super chat, Michael. The GOAT. He said, in a vacuum, CMC in London or Gibbs in the 108. Thanks, guys. All of the hard work that you guys do. Been missing the lady, but bags, desking, baby. So, Snoog, I'll pass this one over to you. CMC London or Gibbs 108.
That's a cowbell trade for Jahmyr Gibbs. That's
Jahmyr
a
Gibbs
cowbell trade.
Snoog, call me crazy, but even if that was 112 or 202, I'm still taking the Gibbs side. I mean, London's worth the 102. McCaffrey's worth like the 18. I'm taking Gibbs wherever I can here. This is almost Gibbs for London in the way that we have things broken down. And I got a comment, a guy last week on the show, Joey T from the Discord, says that he lost his cowbell virginity, like in the YouTube comments. So people want those cowbells, but my wrist is already starting to give out from last week's show. So let's hit a couple. Maybe we'll get some cowbells. We will. This first trade is a doozy.
All right. This is for you, Dad. So we'll pass it over to Snoog here after I read it. We got one side with the 101 and an early third in 2027. The other side with 102 and 106. Snoog, we've been talking about 101 value now for weeks. Draft is next week. Has the value changed at all? What side are we leaning here?
Yeah, I actually like the 102 side in this because Dad and I talk about it on the show a lot, that this kind of tier jump in that top 6 range. So I think the 102 and 106, I can turn that 106 into a really good player, probably like a DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith type of player. And then I'm getting the 102 as well, which is going to be Travis Hunter, superstar player like that. So I like that side slightly, but I am the biggest Ashton Genty fan, so I love just overpaying for him. And I can tell you one thing, Dad's definitely the one getting the 101 side in this trade.
100%. I'm sorry, I like to win. Even Travis Hunter now talking about if he doesn't play both ways is starting to get a little bit. He's not playing. That's a different game for that 102. So your 102 is a Marion Hampton, but 102 and 106. I mean, what are you thinking here, Broc?
I would lean 101 as well. I like how you even got the little third in there just for a little.
That's what
extra.
I did. And then I put there's a gif of Tom Hanks where he's squeezing some lemons. You got to get a little extra juice there. And this trade was with Scarface. So him and I, we own 9 of the 12 first round picks. So it was like, no one will trade with us. So we're like, let's
trade with each other.
Let's and sometimes, Brock, you got to make those trades where it's like, dude, this league is dead right now. I need some trades. We got to make something happen. So you get it going, just like with the super chats. Kensel got them going. Now who's going to pop in with that second one? Again, we are going to give away multiple rookie guys. We're going to give away multiple, VIP Patreons and maybe another roster review. Snoog and I have been doing, I don't want to say thousands, but it's been in the hundreds. Like we are cranking through those bad boys.
All right, good deal there with you and Scarface. So trade number 2 here coming from Mikey T over on Twitter. We got one side with Nico Collins and the 102, other side with the 101, a 26 first, and then 301 in Rodgers for what it is. But Dad, I'll kick this one over here to you.
See, this one's tough because this one, like we keep talking about, I put a thread out there on Ashton Genty. We have 101, 102, 103 with, if you guys are on Twitter, if you guys are not, DM me. Email me. We have that in the link where I'll send it over to you. But it's basically explaining how to make trades from the 101, how to do a reduced volatility, how to tier up, how to tier down. Same thing with the 102, the 103. So I think if I look at this, I have the gap between the 102 and the 101 still at like 106. I feel like that's 105 is what I put in my ranking. So then I look at this 102 and the gap there, the 26 first is late. So now all of a sudden we even add a little bit more to that side. So how much more important is Nico Collins in this particular trade? I think he's in a rebuilding stage where he's getting a late first and the 101, and he has Nico in the 102. So this is really tough. I think I could do more with the 101 side. I think I could take the 101 and trade it for we're going to see a couple trades here later with the 103 and 104. I think I could get 2.5 firsts, if not 3 27 firsts for that 101. So I think this is a fair trade. But Snoog, I mean, the 301 and Rodgers really aren't doing anything for you. Is it the 26 first? I think it's so tough. Like, I think if I'm contending, I want Nico in the 102, which is going to be Hampton. If I'm rebuilding, give me the 26 first and Ashton Genty. What do you think?
I want Nico Collins here 10 times out of 10, not close for me. It's like not close at all. So this is where we disagree a little bit, which is fine because it doesn't happen often, but we just look at it from different perspectives. Nico Collins, to me, is a top 5 wide receiver every single year he's healthy, playing for the next 2 to 3 years. In the 102 over that 26 first, and the turd sandwich is attached to it by a mile. So to me, I'm looking at it like I'm getting Nico Collins in a first for Ashton Genty, the way I'm like trying to, because I think 102 is worth 226 firsts. So that's how I'm trying to kind of break this trade down.
Okay.
I also it could just be I'm super bullish on Nico Collins. And I think for as much as I love Genty, I think the 101 is overvalued right now, which is fine. It should be overvalued. Like he deserves to be overvalued. But I do think it is a bit overvalued right now, where you can maybe not to, like people are saying they take Amon-Ra and BTJ over the 101. Okay, well then you're telling me that you would take those guys over Nico Collins on a first, because Nico Collins will outscore both of those two guys if he plays a full 17 games this year. So that's how I try to put things into perspective a little bit from like these type of big trades that happen.
Yeah, and I think this is one you don't have to make. The gap between 101 and 102 it could be quite a bit different after the draft. I mean, we are only a few days away. If Hampton goes to the Bears, I think this closes the gap quite a bit, where you're getting, a back end RB1 in Dynasty, a mid wide receiver 1 in, versus, honestly, I think there's a real chance if he goes to the Raiders, we're going to say Ashton Genty is literally the RB1 in Dynasty by midseason. Like that's how bullish I am right now. And if you're not that bullish, everybody else's trades, you should be thinking of it that way. So yeah, that one's definitely an interesting one.
All right. Trade number 3 here coming from Goran on the Discord. We got one side with Bijan and Rome, and the other side with the 102, 108, a 27 first, Cortland Sutton, and the 201. Snoog, I'll go ahead and kick this one over here to you. How do you kind of cancel out firsts for Bijan, first for Dunze? How do you break this one down?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty fair team trade, especially in 10-man. I think I want the pick side, though, because I think Bijan's probably worth 102, 108, and maybe a second. Odunze and that 27 first cancel out. It feels like a free Sutton in 201, to be honest, to me. Maybe you could say, okay, maybe Sutton 102 and 108 cancels out for Bijan. Because if we're going to say Genty's worth 102 and 106, Bijan's definitely worth 102 and 108 plus. But Odunze for that 27. This is honestly pretty fair trade, but I want the pick side. I think I can do more. Like your dad said, if Hampton goes to the Bears or whatever happens there, like Hampton going 12 to the Bears, is there really like that massive of a gap between him and a Bijan? Skill set wise, yes. Fantasy football wise, probably not. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of a trade like this, breaking it down. I just love getting a ton of pieces when I trade off like one or two assets, and you're getting
there's so much here. I mean, the 102, 108, 201 is worth
all good pieces.
Is worth Bijan. Then you get a 27 first plus Sutton, so you have the insulation there where Sutton is not a guarantee. I'm sorry, Odunze is not a guarantee. Like a lot of us want to predict him to be that way, but the insulation. I mean, and we got to look at the fact that this is a 201 and a 10 team. It's technically the 111. When we do this, we always talk about 12 teams. If it's not a 12 team, I throw it in there as we got to have a different dialogue.
Yep.
I mean, that's still Caleb Johnson or Luther Burden, or it's still a really nice pick. So 10
Same
teams, you want your
27
studs
first.
Exactly. Hey,
All right,
we got our second super chat.
Yep, we got our second super chat here from Scott. Appreciate it, Scott. We got one side with Kyron Williams and it's Caleb. Caleb Williams.
Can we verify on that one? Is it Caleb or Kyron?
It's probably.
I'm thinking it's Caleb because we're talking Superflex. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got Caleb Williams and a 27 first on one side, and then Kyler, a late 26 first, and Ricky on the other. Is this one close for you, Dad?
I'm smashing. I mean, I am
Caleb
massively. And I'm smashing the Caleb side. Yeah. I love that there. I mean, I think even if you really value Kyler Murray, you can't say that Kyler Murray in a late first is even worth Caleb at this point. So, my man Quentin was like, yeah, absolutely. That's cowbell all day. Like if I look at this trade from a lens of saying Kyler in a late first equals Caleb, which it doesn't, then you're getting a 27 first for Ricky Purcell. Like the only way that this trade is fair, maybe if it's a 27 second, or this is, I just can't see a scenario where you do not absolutely smash the Caleb Williams side. I mean, Snoog, what are you thinking there?
Yeah, I love the Caleb side as well. Cowbell trade for me. I just really don't care for Pearsall enough to go from a Caleb to a Kyler, right? Because the picks, I'm taking the 27 first over the 26 first straight up. And I'm taking Caleb over Kyler by a good amount because Caleb can gain a ton of value. Kyler really can't anymore. He's at that like 28-year-old spot. A lot of people don't even want Kyler in league. So Caleb's a hot commodity.
He's a buy. I think Kyler's a buy.
He is. Yep.
He's at 27. He'll turn 28. I think it's definitely there. Snoog, you know what else is a buy? Smash Accept Patreon. Right now, my man Hustler's 19. And the guys, this is what does it for me. Honestly, like winning championships and comments like this. This I love this. He put, I'm a new member and only regret not joining sooner. Well done, gents. You two are the Dynasty GOATs, and I enjoy every listen. I'm insanely impressed with how active you are in here. Standing ovation. Honestly, those kind of comments, especially the last part, because a lot of people tell me that they've been in other Dynasty Discords and they're in there and, they like the content, but the owners or whoever the analysts are, they never interact. Snoog and I answer hundreds of DMs. Like between the two of us, it's over probably 200 a day. Like we are cranking through them, and guys are so patient in there. It's such a great community. If you guys want to join a community where you can talk shop 24/7, you can go in there and you can do mock drafts. I mean, we have two different guys setting up mock drafts on a daily occasion. Scarface, and then there's different guys in there. They're setting up startups. If you want to do a startup with 12 guys just like you or 11 guys like you, this is the place to do it. You set it up in there for $5 a month. Honestly, for $5, you set up the draft. If you don't like it in there, leave. But you're setting up a draft with no one's leaving right now. The crazy thing is every single month, 100 to 150 people are joining. 3 to 5 are leaving. That is unheard of when it comes to Patreons and Discords, because people see this community, they want to be part of it, and they want that, trade etiquette. They want to learn how to do what we're doing. So I love that. Thank you for those kind words.
All right. Moving on here to trade number 4 from Cardinal Draft Connoisseur. We got one side with Bijan Robinson, other side with McCaffrey, a 203, Mark Andrews, and a 26 first. Dad, while you're finishing that sip of water, I'll pass this one over to Snoog. What do we think?
I want the foundational asset in Bijan Robinson in this trade. It feels like a lot seeing a name like Christian McCaffrey, Mark Andrews, a first, a second. I don't care. I want the foundational asset, because next year it's not going to happen, but Christian McCaffrey and Mark Andrews could be damn well worth not much. It could happen. It's not going to, but it could. Bijan Robinson will be worth 3+ first for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. This is a savvy owner getting Bijan Robinson, trading his late first, and an unsavvy owner on the other side, where he's one of those guys where he's like, oh, my team sucks. I got a lot of holes. Let me sell my elite level asset and get no foundational assets in return. If you trade Bijan Robinson, you need Jackson Smith-Njigba. You need Brian Thomas Jr. You need, and a wide receiver, at least a Rashee Rice, someone where you're like, okay, I'm going to build on this. Because like Snoog said, the insulation is there with the 26 first, but that's late. And the 203, that's not anything close to what Bijan's going to do. This is where guys try to patchwork their team. They're like, okay, well, I'll get 4 assets here and I'll fill a bunch of holes because then I'm a contender. No, you're not. You're one injury away from losing and missing the playoffs. Like, so many guys feel like they're a contender when they make a deal like this. And now Christian McCaffrey gets hurt. Mark Andrews has already, kind of been on a decline. You're losing big time. Like, you are absolutely getting decimated on this particular trade. So face value day one, it's okay. Mid-season, maybe not. Next year, it's Bijan, not even close.
All right. We got super chat number 3 here coming from Michael Trek. Appreciate it, Michael. He said, appreciate you guys. I had the Nico trade and took Nico in that one that we covered. Nice. Bucky, the 26 first, 27 first, and 303 on one side. Other side with Gibbs and Kmet. Keep cooking. You guys are making trades so easy. So appreciate the words there, Mike. I'll kick this one over here to you, Dad.
Are we saying Bucky, a 26 first and a 27 first for Gibbs? I'm smashing that. We just did a show where we were talking about guys to sell, and like Bucky Irving's value is at an all-time high, but it's not 2 firsts off of Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, there are very few running backs that are even worth 2 firsts, let alone, my dynasty RB5, to move from my RB1 to my RB5 and get 2 firsts. Snoog, I mean, you're the Gibbs guy, but you can't even consider it, right?
Nope, I wouldn't do it. I really
What
wouldn't.
about 127 first?
Nope.
No, that's not the gap. I'm with you.
Nope.
Oh, they're cranking in now, buddy. They're cranking in.
We got 2 more, so we hit 5. We'll go ahead and do a wheel spin there at the end here for you guys. But Crystal Catching, another regular here on Tuesday nights, coming in and saying 12-team super flex start 10. Tight end is 2 PPR. He's got Hurts and Dak at QB. Running backs are Josh Jacobs, Kyron, and Ramondre. And he's loaded at receiver, Brian Thomas, A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, and Jacoby, and Njoku. With all of these picks, a lot of seconds and thirds, should he make any moves? If you guys are seeing this team right here, knowing the context with all these picks, what moves would you make here, Dad?
David Njoku in the 205 for George Kittle. Ramondre Stevenson in the 206 to get up into the 201 or 112 area. We did a show where, like, Ramondre Stevenson's about to lose value. David Njoku is not a tight end that I'm safe. I want Kittle here. You know what I mean? I want to make a move like that. When you get on the spot, I mean, I think you're a little bit – tight end's the only real need here. I think Hurts and Dak are solid. I would like to upgrade a little bit from Dak, but for me, it's the Ramondre plus a second to move up, and then it's Njoku plus a second to get Kittle are the primary moves that I would make here. Snoog?
Yeah, I love it. I agree with that Njoku trade. I agree with turning Stevenson plus another second to move up. I also don't mind. It looks like we could probably start 4 wideouts. I don't mind taking Kyron Williams plus a second and getting Rashee Rice, or getting Lad McConkey or Garrett Wilson or Kyron in 2 seconds, whatever it's going to cost or be. Try to sell high on Kyron there just to try to get another stud cornerstone wide receiver to build around with those other three guys we got there, Jacobs, and then as our RB1, and then we could easily, like Dad said, take Stevenson plus a second, move up into the late first or early second range and get a Caleb Johnson or another running back like that to pair up with the room, or even go get an Alvin Kamara or Joe Mixon with a pair of future seconds. There's a couple different things you could do here, but great.
Yeah,
team
like
overall.
the way this is built. There's a lot of offers in here. I mean, even moving, some of the seconds plus Hurts to get to Burrow to get that stack. There's so many different things. I love this one. Reach out into the DMs. We'll go over it a little bit more here, but those were some good ideas. My man Poon Dagoon, we're going to be covering one of his trades later, but he said, bring out the cowbell and join the Discord. That's literally what customer service is all about. It's about cowbells, getting them going. Here we go. Another one. They're cranking.
Yeah, we got Richard Geary here. No trade question, just sending support. So we appreciate that, Richard.
Richard, trade me T. Higgins and Smash Accept 18 and we'll have a better day. He sniped him on me. I had Burrow. I wanted that stack so bad. Shout out to him. He had a great draft. He got in Smash Accept 18. I've been in 17 of the 18 leagues. 15 of them I've been rated the number one drafter. He beat me in this one. So according to Keep Trade,
good job, Richard.
Kudos to you, Richard. Amazing looking draft. You beat me on this one. Sheer value. You took care of it. I love it. It's becoming harder and harder to draft in those. And I was talking to Scarface the other day, and he's like, it's because you and Snoog have taught us so well that literally we're struggling to, I struggle to make trades because they're like, that's not the trade you'd offer. And I'm like, damn it. They want to, they're like, Dad would do this. And I'm like, that's me. Stop.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
You didn't feed them. You taught them how to fish, and now they're just.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we talked about.
Now they're eating all day.
Exactly.
All right. Good job there with those super chats, gentlemen. So we will do the free rookie guide at the end of the show. And then you said that 10, we'll do two rookie guides, two VIP
patrons,
and a roster review.
Exactly.
So 4 more to get to that one. So back here, trade 5 coming from GMC671, Jeff over on Twitter. We got one side with the stack, Mahomes and Worthy. Other side with the 104, 106, 202, and 205. Dad, before we jump into this, I want to ask a question because there has been a lot of Mahomes disrespect, I feel like, this cycle of the offseason. Where is he at currently right now in rookie pick value? And is this kind of a crazy deal getting Mahomes for some firsts that aren't even close to the 101 and 102? Or how are you kind of valuing him right now?
It's crazy because I think this is the first time
We've never been here before.
He's not worth multiple firsts. He's not worth the 101, or he's right there close to that 101. I wouldn't add much on top of it. But this trade is insane. This is just disrespect because I have Worthy worth the 106 to 107. So that's basically 104, 202, 205 for Patrick Mahomes. I don't care what you think of Patrick Mahomes as far as, he's putting up QB2 numbers, but then you look over the last 5 weeks, he had 3 weeks inside that QB1. I mean, Snoog, were we a year early on Patrick Mahomes blowing up? I think Rashee Rice getting injured really hampered that until Xavier Worthy started to really become a thing. But now you talk about Worthy, you talk about Rashee Rice, Kelsey's still viable, and they are going to take a running back. If they get Travion Henderson, this offense is electric. Mahomes belongs inside the top 8 quarterbacks, and a lot of people are really disrespecting him and selling him way too low.
People really forget very quickly how good of a player someone can be just because of a down year. If you really just look at his since entering the league as the starter, QB1, QB7, QB4, QB4, QB1, QB8, QB11. He's hit 4,000 yards in almost every season besides just last year, but he missed a game. Didn't play at the end. He would have hit that. He's had 5,000 yards twice, and he's thrown 38 plus touchdowns 4 times. He's ridiculous, dude. He's gonna be good.
Tom Brady,
yeah,
you get bored of a guy. You want that shiny new toy. I mean, everybody's talking about who's the next LeBron. Shut up, it's LeBron. Who's the next Brady? Who's the next Mahomes? And that's the issue with it, right? It's like people get bored, so they're like, we got to make a move. And Snoog's right. I mean, Mahomes he was QB 11, but on the season, everybody says, well, he wasn't inside the top 15 for X amount of weeks in a row. And he's not the QB1 anymore for you. Like, I think if I have him as my QB2, I feel great. If I have him as my QB1, I want Justin Fields or someone electric to be my QB2 that's going to win me my weeks. For sure.
All right.
I love that one, Snoog.
Moving on to the next one here, Jose from Twitter. And we got another one with Bijan and Rome on the same side. But this time, other side's going to be Rashee Rice, the 102 and the 108. I'll go ahead and pass this one over here to you, Snoog. What do we think?
Yeah, this one's interesting. I think Rome can get to a point where he gets close to Rice, but right now Rice has the edge with value. This is like a damn dead even trade market value wise, in my opinion. Like, you can't get any more even than this, because I think you could probably say Rice for Rome in a second. In that last trade, we said Bijan's probably worth 102, 108 in a second. So this is if I'm contending and I have an elite squad and I'm 2 pieces away from being stud, I'm taking the Bijan side. If I'm rebuilding, I'm taking the Rice side.
Yeah, this is a really tough one, like, honestly, because I think Snoog's right. As we just talked about, Genty is worth the 102 and 106, which means Bijan's got to be maybe 102 and 104. And I have Rashee Rice worth the 102, or I'm sorry, worth the 104. So like 102, 104, that would cancel out Bijan. Rome is over the 108, but it's also like not 100% fluid on that. You know, if Hampton goes to the Bears, that trade, that changes a lot. If the 108 becomes the tier break instead of the 107, now all of a sudden you're getting 3 really nice assets. So I think the difference is it start 10 or is it start 11? Is it 12 team? You know, well, we know it's 12 team, but is it, you know, someone that's the final piece? I keep saying this on every show and people aren't still getting it. When you're building, you build out. When you're a contender, you build up. We're building assets. So if I'm all in, yeah, give me Bijan, right? If I'm in the middle of the pack or I'm rebuilding, give me Rice 102, 108, because what I'm going to do then is I'm going to trade 102 back to 106 and then get another first. And I'm going to trade 108 for a 27 first plus. And then you're going to build up when you have all those assets. And Snoog and I do that all the time. Is like, we have an embarrassment of riches, so we're just going to trade them for the best players in the game, because guess what? Then when they're in that spot where they're behind, they're trading you Justin Jefferson for these players. They're trading you Bijan Robinson. So great analysis on that one, Snoog.
All right, before we jump into the next one, we got our 7th super chat of the night coming from ChiStar86. And they came through and said 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium. They traded Jalen Waddle and Jordan Mason and the 211 for Devonta Smith and Keon Coleman. Dad, what do we think here on this one?
So first off, I'm going to let you know it's impossible to trade Keon Coleman, so I feel like he has to be a buy at this point. Like, I put a poll out the other day, and people said they'd rather have the 208. I think that's a little wild for me, considering he went as early as he did. I have Devonta Smith comfortably over Jalen Waddle. I have Keon Coleman comfortably over the 211. Jordan Mason's not enough to deter me from making this move. So, Chai-Star, I love this one. I'm going Devonta all day.
Yeah, me too. I like the Smith side by a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, Jordan Mason, I saw someone traded like the 204 for him the other day, and I'm like, he's not the starter, guys. Like, Aaron Jones is the starter. Jordan Mason has just become a premium insurance handcuff. Like, that's literally what you're looking at. 305, sure, not 205.
Two more.
And we got 2 back-to-back super chats again here. First one coming from Andres Rosa. That puts us at 9, by the way, guys. So one more. 2 rookie guides, 2 VIP Patreon free months, and then a roster review. So this one's coming from Andres Rosa. Appreciate the super chat, Andres. He said he's got one side with 105, 106, 107. A nice little run there in the first. Other side with CeeDee Lamb and David Montgomery. Which side? Keep pumping out the content. Any guests lined up for the future? So let's first start with the trade. 105, 6, and 7, or CeeDee and D-Mont, Dad. Which side do we like there?
First off, we do have guests lined up. D-Bro from Fantasy Pros, Derek Brown himself, will be on the live stream mocking with Snoog and I. So thank you for that question. You know, and the next part of this, Snoog, this is hard. Because, like, I look at this, and if I'm trading CeeDee Lamb, I want 2 mid first. So I got the 105 and 106, and I have the 107 over Montgomery. So I'm low-key going to take the pick side unless I'm all in. I'm leaning with the picks.
Yeah, I'm taking the picks in this too, because I have the flexibility to turn 107 into a 27 first plus second too, as well as an option. So I don't have to make all these picks.
Yeah, I like that one. Andres, that's a great trade. Notorious coming on in here.
Yes, sir. Notorious. Appreciate the super chat. He said, appreciate you guys and all the great content you pump out. You deserve a cowbell of your own.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you for feeding the dynasty addiction. Hell yeah. Appreciate that, Notorious.
Notorious is in the Discord, and that's one thing that's just awesome is feeding that addiction is you get to talk about it all the time. Like you had a bad day at work. Let's go talk some trades. You know what I mean? you got a speeding ticket on the way home. Let's go talk some trades. I don't want to say anything
take
more.
The edge off.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And then we got another one here coming from Michael. Appreciate it, Michael. He said 12-team Superflex PPR, one tight end premium. Saquon Barkley on one side, other side with Jerry Jeudy, Najee Harris, and the 107. He got a draft guide too. Hell yeah, Michael. Appreciate that. Best insight on rookies. Love to hear it. Let's get to 10. Well, we got to 10, Michael. But going back here to the trade, Snoog, I'm going to throw this one here to you. Saquon or Jeudy, Najee, and the 107?
Market value wise is probably going to tell you Jeudy side, but I want the Saquon side. To me, I want to get off Najee and Jeudy in any league I got them in, taking the 107 and going and getting a superstar asset that can win me a championship in Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I mean, honestly, I'm all in on that one. Give me Saquon Barkley. Go win a championship.
All right. Good one there, Michael. Next one coming from Blue K Prods. Appreciate the super chat there, Blue. We got one side with McCarthy, the 109 and the 202. Other side with Bucky, Zay Flowers, and the 205. Dad, what do we think here with this one?
I would like a little bit more context as far as, is this your QB3 or is this your QB2? I think looking at this at face value, and Blue K, if you could drop that on there, that'd be awesome if you can. But I look at Zay I have Zay at more like the 108. So, I mean, I would say 109, 202 equals Zay 205. 202 to 205 is a pretty flat tier. So then it really becomes Bucky or JJ McCarthy. And I think right now I have Bucky worth the 104 and I have JJ McCarthy worth the 105. So if this is a, super flex where he's going to become your starter and you're in need, or you have an aging quarterback room, I have no problem with this. If I'm running back needy, I have no problem with this, but I slightly lead the JJ McCarthy side because I really don't own Zay Flowers anywhere. I would rather get the quarterback who I think is going to go up. Because Snoog, if Bucky rushes for 1,200 yards, how much more can he go up from the 104? But if JJ McCarthy comes in and has a top 12, top 15 quarterback season, now all of a sudden we're in that spot.
First. And
at 10, I could trade 109 and 202 and get up to 106 or 105 and get Travion Henderson, who I think is going to pass Bucky Irving at some point this year if he gets the right situation.
Yeah, I like the JJ side as well. I'm not like desperately going after JJ, Bucky, or Zay in any league, to be honest. None of them are super intriguing assets to me. I'm trying to tier up off these guys. So I'm getting half of that done already. I'm getting a 109 and 202 for Zay and the 205. And turning Bucky into an asset that's easy to sell as well. Yeah, exactly. Boom.
He said JJ would be his QB2 behind Bo Nix. So I think you have to there. And Andres Rosa said, keep me off the wheels, my friend. We gave him away last one. We have a 12th one here dropping in there. So Snoog, if we get to 15, do you want to do 3 rookie guys?
Let's do it.
Do you want to do 3? All right, let's do it.
All right. Appreciate the super chat here, Main Mac. He said, looking for some moves to make 12-team Superflex PPR. His QBs, Tua and Goff, running backs, Demont, Hall, Eckler, and Nick Chubb. He's still a free agent. We'll see if he signs anywhere. Receiver, Diggs, Tyreek, Jefferson, Godwin, Ridley, Pittman, Kelsey, and Goddard at tight end. Looks like he only has the 202 this year. Snoog, I see you kind of making some faces. How would you kind of evaluate this team where it sits currently? Would you trade the 202 for anything? What would that be? Kind of where would you go here off first glance?
Dad, call me crazy, but I'm ripping this thing down to the bone and rebuilding it.
Yeah, right here. I mean, I'm assuming there's a lot of aging parts of this team. Like you got Jefferson.
They all have value.
You got Jefferson. Right, you got Hall. I think
those are the only foundational pieces, really.
Those are your foundational assets. But I think this team's good enough to win because Tua and Goff are borderline QB1s. So like this is the scenario is, Mac, do you have your 26 first? Do you have your 27 first? Because with this particular team, I think if you start out 3-1, 4-1, like you could really start to tier in and really start to push in for one last shot. If you have the 202, I would start to try to tier up off of some of this. Like I think there's a scenario where your tight ends are just good enough. Your wide receivers, I mean, if Godwin bounces back and Hill bounces back, then you have three solid wide receivers. Montgomery and Hall, you're an injury away from missing the playoffs, is what Snoog's trying to say. So we're leaning towards a rebuild. But if you want to try to push in and you're not, you could trade Justin Jefferson for CeeDee Lamb plus. You could, or even CeeDee Lamb for Amon-Ra plus, since you have Goff. You already had, then you have a double stack in there, and then you could trade Breece Hall, tier down from him to, start accumulating some picks, get a Alvin Kamara plus a first, start to move some ways, make some reduced volatilities. Again, reach out in the DMs on this one. This is one we can really dissect because honestly, I think there's a lot to work with on this one.
All right, and then we got our 13th here, Darren Bowling. Thanks for everything, guy. He's trying to get us up to 15, so we appreciate that, Darren. Thank you.
Darren, we appreciate you. He's new in the Discord.
Before we can even get back to the trade 6, 7, whatever the hell we're on, we got another one, number 14.
We're trying, man.
Jack Cavalecchio, nothing there. He's for the love of the game.
No, he put his. He put his.
He put his in there. Message above, and Jack's in there as well.
Yes, I would do that.
Total rebuild.
Smash.
Would you trade 106 for 112? Yeah, get your own first.
Get your first back.
Get Dak. Don't do the 112. Get Dak and your own first back.
I think this is a trade where Snoog, you almost have to pay the 106 for your own first, knowing that you're gonna make it the 101 with our rebuild process. So
you normally have to pay more than that. You normally have to pay more than the mid first this year to get your own pick next year. The team's gonna assume you're gonna tank if you want it back.
That's a smash. That's a get him his cowbell, and he's getting a free Dak out of it.
Hey,
get him his cowbell, damn it.
Good thing I can use both hands. I'm trying to get all the way back up. It's been about 25 minutes since we've gotten into any of these questions. So we're back on trade. We're on 7 with Kevin M. Hart. Every time I put his name up there, somebody puts another super chat.
All right. I don't think this is the Kevin Hart that we all know. This is Kevin M. Hart, kind of like Michael B. Jordan. We got one side with Marv Kincaid and the 203. Other side with the 101, presumed Ashton Jeanty. I heard it in the distance. Cowbell Snoog, you agree?
Oh,
yep. Cowbell for Jeanty. Pop his cherry, baby.
Get it going.
We got cowbell cherries now. We might have to get T-shirts made.
I'll get a T-shirt made, but I'm not going to get one that says cowbells and poppin' cherries. Like that's not the Smash Accept logo. That's not our slogan. I'm out on that one.
All right, trade number 8 here coming from Abi Saha over on Twitter. We got 105 and Devon Achane for the 101. So, Dad, you had a trade 102 and 106. Where you kind of see 105 and Achane similar to that, and which side would you take here?
I mean, like, there's so many of these where
there's so many different combinations of these.
I want Jeanty again. People are going to call me crazy, but like I have Devon Achane worth the 104. The 104 and 105 does not equal him. But damn, I look at this closer and I'm like, if you believe in Achane and that Tua's going to be healthy, because when Tua's healthy, dude's a baller, right? The only reason he's worth the 104 and not the 101 is Tua's health. Like if Tua was a guy that played 16 games every year and we had no concussion worries and the amount of points that he's put up, you wouldn't even debate it. So like I can really see it because you could get Travion and Achane here. So that's what's so tricky about the 101. It has so much value. A year from now, you could tell me Ted McMillan fell to 105 and you got Achane and Tua stayed healthy. I just think Jeanty's not going anywhere no matter what, but this one's tough, Snoog.
It is tough. I think I want the 105 and Achane just because of I know I'm getting an elite RB1 back plus the chance at one of Hunter, Hampton, Henderson, McMillan. I just really like that haul that I'm getting for Jeanty. So I would go with that 105 side slightly because it's not like you're not getting a haul, right? Like you're getting a good package deal for Ashton Jeanty. So I think it's just if you're gonna sell him, I keep telling people in the Discord this: don't sell him for boring things like 110, a late 26 first in 3 seconds. Like if you're gonna sell him, get top 5 assets, get top 5 picks in the rookie class, and get a London or a Garrett Wilson, a Lab McCon, like one of these type of guys involved as well.
Well, Trade 9 is from Sierra Mist on Twitter. Same kind of thing, 101 for 103 and 104. And I mean, this is juicy, right? Like this is really the kind of value that you're looking to get. Is you're just like, I'm going to smash one way or another. Is like, if you really believe in Genty, you're going to have to pay. Like that's where I was at 102, 106, 103, 104 is interesting for me because I think now we're talking about if I know, I mean, this is McMillan and Hunter. This is, you're going to get, depending on what the league is, you're going to get 2 guys that are in that spot. And Snoog, I keep saying it, if you're building up, you get Genty. If you're building out, because Genty's the only thing that's a lock in this class, right? Like I like a lot of guys, right? And there's like, but is there, what is the chance that he busts? It's less than 5%. What are the chances that guys from 102 to 106 bust? 25%, but the opportunity is there, with landing spots. And it's just that's what your risk is with the 101. But let's even look at past 101s. I mean, Caleb Williams struggled last year. He went up in value, and like Breece Hall had a mediocre rookie season. He went up in value. Bijan was, a back end RB1. He went up in value. So, I mean, Genty, if a guy blows up his rookie season, you're not touching him ever again. So this is your last opportunity to buy Ashton Genty, period.
Yep.
So that's how I'm looking at it right now. That's why I'm so bullish on him is this is it. After this year, you're paying 3 firsts.
Yep. I agree with that.
All right. Trade number 10 here from the Bryce is Right over on Twitter. We got one side with JJ McCarthy and the 110, the other side with the 102, the 205, and 209. Snoog, I'm going to kick this one over here to you. What do we think?
I want the 102 all day in this trade, all day long.
It's a tricky one, though. Yeah, I do too. Just for what I can get for it, because I think if I have the 102 and I really want JJ McCarthy, then on draft day, I will trade the 102 for McCarthy and the 110. Like you're not going to need those other things. But on draft day, somebody's going to get excited about who falls there at 102, and that's really going to be your difference. There's no point in trading any picks right now if you're not getting more than what you think. Like if you're debating it, it's probably wrong. You're probably in that spot. You got to know when to hold them, right?
All right, Scott's back with another super chat, and that gets us to 15. So 3 rookie guides, a couple free months of the Patreon, and the free roster review. So appreciate you coming back here again, Scott. He said 12-team super flex, start 8. So very shallow here. Should he send Amon-Ra, Herbert, and the 211 for Gibbs, Bryce Young, and the 207? He's loaded at receiver. He said he'd appreciate the help last week. He couldn't land the GT for Amon-Ra deal, but Dad, which side do we like here? Amon-Ra, Herb, 211, or Gibbs, Bryce, and 207?
So the 207, 211, I'm kind of taken out of this. That's not a huge thing. I mean, that's a slight lean on the Gibbs side. I have Gibbs over Amon-Ra, but not by the same distance that I have Herbert over Young. Like I have Herbert so much more over Young. So I'm taking pretty comfortably the Amon-Ra and Herbert side. As much as I love Jahmyr Gibbs, like the same kind of thing is like if you're building up, you're loaded at wide receiver, and I know you're trying to buy it running back, but how loaded is that quarterback room that you're willing to give up Herbert? And I know in an 8-team league, the quarterback position is depreciated some, but I think we're just trying to give up Amon-Ra just to get Gibbs. Like if we could do Amon-Ra and a pair of seconds or a late first, I would rather do that, but I think the gap between Herbert and Young is just too big.
Yeah, I would include the QBs in that swap there.
Yeah, and then, I mean, 8-team format is really shallow, but you still have an elite foundational wide receiver that you're giving up here. So, I mean, if you're going to give up Herbert, and then, I just think you can give up a little bit less to go ahead there and get Gibbs. So, I think we're on to number 11.
Yes, trade 11 coming from Prospects from the Patreon. We got one side with Rashee Rice, the 104 and 26 second. Another one with Gibbs and 26 third. That here. What do we think?
So first off, hey, you guys have been harassing us in the comments. Brock got Rashee Rice's name right, and I've been pronouncing Ashton Genty's name right. So we're done taking the harassment on that. Love that. But honestly, So here's the deal: is this particular trade was Rice 104 for Gibbs, and I told him I would rather have Gibbs, but I said if you get a 26-2-3 swap, I'm in because I think at the 104 you go ahead and you get Henderson, Rice plus a second. I'm in for it, and that's what we ended up doing on that. And I think a lot of times when you're doing a trade, everybody mocks me in the Discord. I say, get a 27-1-2 swap, get a 26-2-3 swap. Juice, like you made a comment on that 27 third I got thrown in there, but you know what? That 27 third, I'm going to add James Conner to it, and it's going to be a 27 second next year. And it's like those little building blocks, those little extra juice to get that you get out of that squeeze is worth it for me. Snoog, is this enough for you? I mean, I know you love Gibbs, but we both love Rice. Is this a type of deal that you would make?
It's definitely one that has me second guessing before I hit accept. Because to me, Jahmyr Gibbs, there's no uncertainty. There's a little bit of uncertainty with Rashee Rice and his legal situations and his injury. So it's up in the air for me. Sorry, had a little sneeze in between that, but I don't know. I mean, I'd have to see where that 104 pick, who it is and where they land and where they get drafted in terms of draft capital to do this trade. This isn't a trade I would make today.
Yeah, it's not required to, I think. Yeah, but I mean, 104 is going to be so much different in every league. I think 95% of the leagues right now, you're looking at you're going to get Genty, and then you're going to get Hampton, and then I think Hunter, McMillan, Ward, Warren, Henderson, you're going to see them all rotate into all kinds of different scenarios, which is going to really create value that you don't necessarily need to trade up now.
All right, next trade here coming from Brett over from the Patreon. We got one side with Trey McBride, Garrett Wilson, and the 205. Other side with Dalton Kincaid, Rome Odunze, and the 105. I'm not sure if Snoog's locked in over there what he's looking at. I'll pass this one over here to you, Dad. What do we think?
Trey McBride. I want Trey McBride literally everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, you can't afford Brock Bowers anymore, but get Trey McBride. Like, honestly, you just get him. Like, seriously. Even if you look at this trade and say McBride for Kincaid in the 105, which I think is reasonable, I'd rather still have McBride. Then you're getting Garrett Wilson in the 205 for Rome Odunze. Like, this is a smash. But a lot of people would look at this really close and they're like, oh, well, Odunze, I got the 105 in there. Sometimes you just throw a first in there. And I think this year the gap between 105 and 205 is nothing like it was last year. Like, I think your gap there, you could still get a really nice player at 205. So this is a smash.
Feels like a free Garrett Wilson or a free like a free McBride or a free Wilson. I'm taking either of those guys in the 205 over that package.
For sure. And I mean, yeah, like if this is McBride 205, I got to think about it. If it's 0.75, like I've still got to think about it. So that's a good one there. We're smashing that.
All right. Good one there, Brett. Next one here coming from Big Fish over from the Patreon as well. We got one side with 108, other side with Najee and 201. Let's see some fist pumps, Snoog smiling. What do we think here, boys?
Yep. We're smashing that 108. We just did a show on this. Is like guys like Najee Harris, you use to tier up and you get yourself into 1-8, and now all of a sudden you're getting, Ibuka and Najee Harris gets replaced with another running back, or he gets, some kind of competition there. That's my man, Big Fish Dog in the Patreon. That's a great trade. I love it.
All right. Good one there, Big Fish. Next one coming from Hainsby over from the Discord as well. We got one side with Rome, the 107, 201, and a 26 third. Other side with Marv, last pick in the first, they're the 112 and the 205. Dad, do we agree here? I see Snoog motioning. Which side do we like?
Snoog's going cowbell. I don't have 100% cowbell in this one.
He's getting a little cowbell crazy.
Which side are you cowbelling?
I'm taking cowbell Marv all day.
Okay. Because I think the gap between the gap between Rome and Marv, like I think 107 versus 112 is not quite enough. But the 201 is giving you a little bit more there. I'm a little bit closer. I mean, I want Marv. I have Marv versus the 102. I have Marv worth the 102, and I have Rome worth the 105. So 105 and 107 or 102 and 112. And like that's literally where it's not that far off. But I think Marv is a great value right now. So I'm definitely with you there. Haynes B also. has
Getting it on the phone.
another
Let's go,
super chat.
Hainsey. What is that? Euros?
Yeah.
Elder's got the flag there. A little super
UK,
chat from
baby.
There we
from the
go.
kingdom, from England.
Hey,
Appreciate it, Hainsey.
Smash Accept 19 is about. We're about to start sending out invitations. It is Smash International. We are now listed to in 64 different countries, which is really cool. And I think there are 27 different countries in the Discord. So it's a cool thing. Worst case landing spots for exactly. We're Lendl Global. We're in everything. Tet and Henderson. What worst landing spots, Snoog, for Ted Arroyo McMillan?
Saints,
Seattle Seahawks, or the Jets are the worst landing spots for Tet, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The worst landing spot for Travion. I don't think there is one.
No, there isn't. Unless he goes to the Jets because they're just stupid and they take him, or like somewhere where it's like somebody didn't need him at all and they just went out and got him.
The Ravens.
The Bills wouldn't be the best for year one. That'd be kind of messy, but that could be good long term.
Oh yeah,
one of these teams with a good
Texans could be kind of at first too because Mixon, it's just like messy, but yeah, it is. Really
real quick before I read this one, it's 3:30 in the morning for Hainsby, 3:30 a.m. and he's still tuning in live. So,
dude, I love it.
Hell yeah,
I know. We're not sure if he's staying up late or he's getting up early, but either way, we appreciate the grind, Hainsby.
Hell yeah. And our 17th super chat here. This has got to be a record here on the Smash Accept channel.
The Smash record.
Jake coming in. He said, one side with Ayuk, Warren, Jalen Warren, obviously hasn't had his rookie draft yet, I'm assuming, and a 26 first, or Garrett Wilson and Rome on the other side.
Yo, Jake, you're getting it.
Jake the damn cowbell, baby.
Is that Jalen Warren? If so, that's not close. Like not even.
If
close.
it's Tyler Warren, I'm still. It's close, but I'm still taking the Garrett and Rome side. So yeah, it's got to be Jalen Warren unless it's a Debbie league. But yeah, I'm 100% on the Garrett side. Garrett, we have a couple of trades of him coming up in here, but I'm still seeing 108 and a random 26 first. I'm seeing like trades. I'm like, dude, it's still Garrett Wilson, man. Like you are way too low on Garrett Wilson. Just so you know, pretty much everybody is. Not Swan from the Discord though.
Here we go, Swan from the Discord. Trade number 15. We got one side with. Okay, so this was a cascading trade. So let's go over the first one first. Kamara, AJ Brown, and 110 on one side. Saquon, Smitty, the 206 and 309 on the other side. Snoog, before you answer, he turned Saquon and Smitty into the 101. So Kamara, AJB, and 110, or Gene T, the 206 and the 309. We'll start here with you on this one.
This is tough for me. It shouldn't be. It's not market value wise. It's going to tell you Genty, but
what I mean, now we're talking. Hold on a second, because now we're talking Alvin Kamara, AJ Brown, 110, or Genty 206, 309. Because he traded Saquon and Smith, he cascaded him. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, Snoop, do you want? I mean, Kamara's worth more than the 206. So we'll say, I mean, Smitty.
This one's GT here, boys.
Huh?
This one's GT here.
Yeah.
I think so.
This is a tough one, honestly, because I think you could.
That's such a good, like, I'm going all in AJ Brown, Kamara side, and getting the 110.
Yeah. But I think it's like we say, is like it depreciates.
It's definitely the value's definitely on Genty.
I was just looking at it like rookie value. It's like 110. You said Kamara's worth what, like the 203, 204.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not even trading the 101 for the 2 and the 6. So you're going to trade it for AJ Brown's like what, 105, so it's like 105, 110 in a second.
Yeah,
103 you got him at.
This is a tricky area, you know, like when we're talking about
trading. But still 104, like, 110 in a some of them mid-second.
I know. Thank you for bringing me back, because like honestly, I see sexy names like AJ Brown and Alvin Kamara, and I'm like, ooh, here we go. Yeah, and then I forget where we're at in those. So
traps me every time.
Bringing us back in here, you know, reeling us back in. We appreciate that.
Let me pick up my jar off the floor.
Next trade here coming from Connor Amrine over from Discord. We got one side with Tyreek Hill. Who knows what's going on with Tyreek? and Chris Godwin. Other side with Chris Olave and the 208. Dad, what do we think here?
This is another interesting trade. I think Tyreek
know
Hill
what you're
right
gonna
now
say.
is worth the 111. I think Chris Godwin's worth maybe the 204. And I have Olave worth the 107. So, I mean, like, if I'm all in, I want Tyreek and Godwin. But from a value
If you're
side, I think I
rebuilding.
lean Olave and 208. So I feel like this is one of those trades that just works for everybody.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill, I tried trading for the 109 today. I got rejected. I feel like he's sitting there 110, 11 until, there's another domestic disturbance type thing. So, I mean, I'm leaning the Olave side. Tyreek Hill, we just need some good news, or we need a trade, or we need something to move off of Tyreek Hill, because I think he's going to be a league winner, and Chris Godwin has that potential to be, a back end wide receiver 1, maybe a mid wide receiver 2, but this is the Olave side.
Yep.
All right. Trade 17 coming from Darren B from the Discord. Another one with just picks. We got one side with the 106 and 201, and the other side with 102. Snoog, what do we think here?
I want the 102 here.
Smash. Yeah, 100%. Because
Easy enough
106, 106, maybe you get Warren, maybe you get Henderson, but 102, like there's just so much more you can do with it depending on who you like. I think that should be Snoog. If that was a 27 first, I think I'd smash the 106.
Yeah,
if it's
definitely.
26 first, I'm not quite there if it's late.
I would take it.
And that's where a lot of you guys are talking about trading for 26 first. If it's a late 26 first, then tell them it's got to be 27, because 2 years from now, that could get much better in a much better class. There's Poondagoon.
Hell yeah. We got one side with Bijan and Herbert, and the other side with 4 straight picks. I'm going to ask you guys a question after this. We got 3, 4, 5, and 6. How awesome is it in a draft to just dominate literally a third of the first round? It's like you're building a wall there. People got to come through you if they want anybody in that range. But in this trade, Dad, do we want the wall there with those 4 picks, or do we just want, QB and RB1?
No.
What do we think?
I'm taking the 2 foundational assets here. As much as I love this, and you're right, because I love that. In when I'm doing a startup, like if I'm debating between a player or having a run of picks, like give me the run of picks, because now when you get in there, you control the draft. So you take Tet at 103 because that's the guy you wanted, and then at 104 you're like, who wants in? And you try to make this into something more. But I think Bijan is comfortably worth 103 plus one of these other picks, and I think Herbert is right there as well. So I want the players. Snoog, any debate on that one?
If I'm building up, I want the players. If I'm building out, I want the picks.
What about if you got more super chats and you can't find them because there's so many of them right now that you're just trying to? All right. Oh, we got some more different currency rolling.
Yeah, or is that euro? Is that tripping? I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
He said, "What Redlow? Appreciate the super chat, Redlow." He said, "What to do with Breece these days?" And again, what to do with Breece?
Hold. That's buy or hold, because he's either going to stay with the Jets and he's going to be, a super productive asset, or Snoog. I keep seeing rumors about him getting traded to the Bears so the Jets can get Genty, and it's like, dude, if you put Breece Hall and stop putting him in a damn committee, okay? Like when you saw what he was able to do pass catching, when he was the primary guy, he was the RB2 in fantasy and in Dynasty, flirting with the RB1 overall. So, I mean, honestly, Breece Hall is a buy, because my value right now, I have him as the 104, 105. I saw a guy the other day trade the 108 and the 208 for Breece Hall, and I'm like, is that what we're doing? Like, don't overestimate any of this kind of. People are saying, like, it's a committee. It was a committee last year. Like, we saw Allen had 26% of the snap share. So that's still technically a committee. They're not going to, like, Glenn, you're getting a new job. You're not going to just all of a sudden be like, we don't really need Breece Hall, unless he gets some kind of trade, which I think would be ultimate for his, draft stock.
Yeah. All right. And the last one here, boys, trade 20, the most trades we've ever done here too. So this one's coming from Nick Kenosha over from the Discord. We got one side with Bijan, other side with Achan, Zay, and the 104 or 204. Not sure what the last little bit is, but
that's one quarterback league.
Oh, okay. One QB league. Dad, are we agreeing with Snoog here? Are we cowbelling, or do we want the package?
Give me Bijan all day. Like I love Flowers, but I love A-Chain, but I'm using Flowers in that 204, especially in a one quarterback, because then that 204 is considerably less valuable than what we talk about in Superflex. So I am comfortably on the Bijan side. Snoog, while we get we actually have 2 sets of wheels to spin because we messed up done 2 weeks ago with that. So, a couple comments here. You get that one ready to go. I'll throw it up there. Keenan Bates says, hey, let's go. Smooth Criminal just joined the Discord, said, let's go. Notorious is in there. I love it. Guys saying, smash that like, bang that bell.
Bang that bell.
I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to get these T-shirts ready,
Put that on a beanie.
Just what we needed. Tuesday night trade show. Everybody gets so excited about. I don't know that one we might not be able to read. So let's get up to the next one. All right, let's throw it up here, Snoog. This is last week.
This is last week's.
We will be giving away one rookie guide based off your comments. So if you guys comment on things, we'd love that. It helps get us out there a little bit more. So this will be a free rookie guide going to, who's it going to be? Kyle's Money comments on every single one. Let's get a Kyle's Money. Jack Colavecchio. Let's go, Jack. You're in the Discord. You made a super chat today, so make sure you DM us in there. We'll take care of you. Snoog, 3 rookie guides, 3 VIP Patreons, and then at the end, between the 3, we're gonna have to pick out who gets a roster review.
Yeah,
so
you're gonna have to give me a couple minutes. You're gonna have to give me like 2 minutes here and kill some time.
Let's do a couple of other things here. Timothy Davis says Genty will feed families. Brock, I've been all about Genty. I think we're really looking at a lot of these trades. I don't think we've ever seen the 101 traded so much because it's a running back and because guys are uncertain. But running backs don't miss from the 101. It's Zeke, it's Gurley, it's Saquon, it's Breece Hall. I mean, it's like legitimate assets. So it's like, what kind of fear should we actually have that he doesn't hit? And are we too high at RB3 right off the bat?
No, definitely not. You even said it. If he goes to a spot like the Raiders too, like top 6 capital, if he's the bell cow there, he's in the conversation with Gibbs and Bijan off the bat. So I think to get him off my team, like you got to pay me 140, 150% what the 101 is normally worth. It's like, because that gap is so big. Last year, we're like, Caleb and Marv, Neighbors, Jaden, May. It's like it was all pretty clustered.
But there's no two that's close.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to pay me a premium to get them off my team, and I think that's what we're seeing with these trades. There's a lot of them where it's like, don't do that, hold it. There's no need to move that 101 right now for 2
I would say
picks
there's
first.
A stud tax of 120 to 125%. So if we're talking Genty and you would go 130 to 140, you better pay up. That's the way it's going to do it. Rafi was asking, would you guys trade a late 26 first to get the 112? I always think that's fair. Like I always feel like 110 to 112. I feel like you should have to add on top of that late 26 first to get into the draft. So if you can buy it straight up and it's going to be late, I'm perfectly fine with that. But you better make sure it's late because if it becomes mid, then we're screwed.
I would wait for that one till you're on the clock just to make sure it's someone that you still do want there at the 112. There could be a big tier gap. Like we're saying, the draft's going to answer a lot of questions next week, but say you're on the clock there, you already have a stud tight end. Best options are like Loveland and Scatabo. And I don't know, someone with a shitty spot. You're like, just give me the pick, more fluid there for the next year. I can trade that for a contending asset. So I'd wait till draft night on that one.
Here we go. Let's get 3 of them, Snoog. 3 winners. Snoog's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
He's so excited over there. Your girlfriend could have made it 20. Oh, somebody just did put a 20 within it. Was it Crumble Cookie for your girlfriend?
Redlow won the first one. Nah, it mutes me when I share my screen.
20th Redlow. One was. Oh, we were at Stro has Mahomes, Penix. I'm gonna have to come back to that one, but get that one going. Get the next one.
Stro. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Guide number 2. First one went to Redlow.
Boom.
And Stro, what a dude! That's crazy luck. Crazy luck.
Number 3. Darren Bowling.
Oh, Darren Bowling, new to the Discord. All right, Snoop, can we put all 3 of those names in there to see who's getting the roster review?
Yes.
So leave just Redlow, Darren,
Stro.
and Stro. That was quick right there. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Redlow.
All right.
Redlow.
Send us a DM. Guys, this show honestly gets more fun every single week. You guys, I mean, we did 20 trades and 20 super chats in an hour. Like that is I think that's cold AF right there. Like we actually nailed it there. Maybe we'll rock the beanie a little bit more, get everybody ready to go on trades. And we really appreciate that. You guys keep coming out, you keep showing support. So hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend. Honestly, we're at a point we're not the best kept secret anymore. Like everybody knows Smash Accept. So send it to a friend. Just be like, hey, what do you think of these guys? It's going to help you make better dynasty trades because that person's going to be a little bit more in the know. So thanks again for tuning in and enjoy the process. You say